Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Posi-TIPS with Rachelle. Folks, I want to continue this important conversation on the importance of overcoming people pleasing. Now, I gave you the introduction last week, but this time I wanted to kick off this series by highlighting the importance of taking responsibility for your life. Taking responsibility for your life. Let me say it one more time. Taking responsibility for your life. Because this is something that people pleasers, and again, I am a reformed, recovering people pleaser because I can absolutely relate to what you're going through for those who are struggling in this particular area. Now, when I mention and when you hear me say taking responsibility for your life, essentially what I'm saying is the blame game has to stop. So if you're overcommitted, if you're tired, if you're negative, if you're complaining, if you just got too much on your plate and there never seems to be enough time, or you're constantly giving and people are constantly taking from you, the reality is you've got to face the truth that it's your fault. It's not anyone else's fault. If you are unhappy in life, it is your fault. And it is going to take you taking responsibility for what's not working in your life to turn things around. Because folks, there's so many people, so many negative people. How many negative people do you know? You may be one of these negative people that is just always complaining about this and that, and how this person takes advantage of you, and this boss makes you work overtime and doesn't pay you for overtime, and just all of that. Your best friend always wants you to babysit at the last minute and doesn't, respect your time. So any of those scenarios and the thousands other scenarios that I could sit here and mention are truly your responsibility. Change starts with you. That is something you've heard me mention over and over again, regardless of series. Change starts with you. Our lives just don't magically get better without any action, without us taking positive action to enact those positive changes and transformations. All right, it's going to take us taking responsibility for recognizing, oh, hey, I've created this situation. If I'm stressed out, if I'm overworked, if I'm tired and overcommitted and just my life is a complete mess, then it's my fault. It's not anyone else's fault, so I've got to take responsibility to make the necessary changes. Because folks, ultimately, we have a decision to make. When we make decisions, when we wake up every day, are we going to be a victim or a victor? Okay, is it always going to be someone else's fault? We're always going to waste time blaming and all of this, wearing other people out around us with the constant negativity and complaining and inability, quite frankly, and lack of confidence to confront the people or the situations in our lives that are making us unhappy and miserable. All right, so you're going to take the victim stance, or you're going to be a victor. All right, where you're going to be empowered with confidence and courage to recognize, hey, I've created some negative habit patterns in my life, and it's going to take me taking a stand. I'm going to have to really just be courageous and confident to stand up and address the necessary problems and issues, situations in my life that need changing. All right, but that's not going to happen if you're spending all your time in that victim role. All right, so you've got a decision to make. Do you want to be the victim, a perpetual victim, or do you want to be a perpetual victor? All right, one who's happy, one who's positive, one who's just a giver and able to just help people out of the goodness of their heart. All right, not trying to manipulate people, not trying to constantly get other people's approval, not trying to make other people indebted or obligated to you. Again, those are ulterior motives that I won't even get into, but those types of motives are certainly what drives a lot of people-pleasing behavior. Wanting to be thought of, wanting people's approval, all of that. All right, and am I saying, never be a nice person, never be good to people? That is absolutely not what I'm saying. But all I'm saying is we need to live lives in moderation and balance. All right, so the people pleaser, the perpetual people pleaser is off in the ditch on this side, just worn out, tired, negative, miserable, all of that. Okay, but then there's moderation. People who are healthy givers, people who take care of themselves, people who are able to, in a healthy, balanced way, put themselves first. Because guess what? If you never put yourself first and you're always last and you're taking care of and doing things for everyone but yourself, you are going to crash and burn, and that's not going to do any good for those people around you anyway. All right, whether you're a leader in the workplace or your leadership in your household. All right, the world deserves a healthy, balanced, happy, positive you. All right, so just recognize, okay, or you could be in the other again. You could be the negative people pleaser, just worn out on this ditch, or you can be in this lane, driving your life, and just to use this kind of metaphor, I live in the motor city. Okay, you've got to be in the driver's seat of your life. All right, you want to get to a destination. You want to get it to the destination of happiness, positivity, a healthy, balanced whole life. You are going to have to be the one doing the driving. You can't let everyone else's needs and expectations just overtake your life. Just overtake your life, because you're not going to be happy. So no excuses, folks. I know some of you are watching this and you've been making excuses to other people, but most importantly to yourself for years. You don't believe you deserve to be happy. There's so many negative mindsets that cause people, people, if I don't do this, if I'm not always doing 2,000% in work while everyone else does 50%, then they won't like me, and I just want my coworkers to like me, and all of that. All right, that used to be me years ago, where there's that whole dichotomy: do you want to be liked more, or do you want to be respected more? That used to be in the need to be liked category hugely. All right, but certainly now I'm in that need to be respected category. This is far more important to me than people liking me. I want to be respected. All right, but that's a decision that you have to make. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to confront your fears. You're going to have to overcome your fears, because fear will try to stop you. Anytime you're trying to enact any positive changes in your life, whether it's developing a fit lifestyle, whether it's developing more of a healthy, balanced life in regard to your work, the workplace, your employment, regardless relationally, where you always the giver and everyone around you is constantly taking, and you're burned out, worn out, and stressed out and frustrated. All right, the rocking the boat, okay, the fear of rocking the boat and enacting those changes. We're going to talk more about that on another episode, but you got to overcome your fear, but you got to recognize it's fear that keeps us stuck in a negative cycle of people pleasing. But any negative cycle of life, we can trace the root of that, particularly if you're stuck in a bad situation. It's fear of the unknown, fear of the failure, fear of what others will think, fear of humiliation, all of that, fear of rejection. But folks, you've got to overcome your fear. Take steps of faith to enact positive changes in your life, because folks, I've done it. I was a master people pleaser for a number of years. Rachelle the Southern Belle. All right, syrupy sweet Southern Belle Rachelle. But am I sweet still? Yes. Am I thoughtful, kind, generous? Absolutely. That's all still true. But there's definitely been a change in my life in the last several years where I'm definitely no nonsense. Yes, there's that kind, sweet side, but there's definitely the no nonsense other side. And so, folks, you just got to do the right thing. Do what's best for you in your life. Just develop and strive towards lives of wholeness, happiness, and just balance. All right, don't be in the ditch. Don't get in that negative ditch of people pleasing, because you deserve to be happy. All right, so I look forward to continuing this conversation next time. Until then, continue to overcome this need to please everyone. Thanks so much for your time. Make it a wonderful day.